All right. I keep saying it. Need to get better lighting here. This is Paul over here at FR8 Connect, Freight Connect, and it is Friday after 5 Central Time. So it looks like 6:30. Wow, time goes by so fast. So we had a good day today. Today is day 17 of readiness. I'm doing a 30-day body transformation. I guess we could call it that, but really, I'm just with it being winter. Um, Generally, I like to be inside in the gym working out. I've been outside this whole time working out. There's so far 2 days I did not get out and work out, but the other was that 17, 16, 14 days I have been. And today, 17, which is 16, 16, yeah, 17, day 17. It is not going to be an outdoor day, not at all. It may even be somewhat of a rest day. I'm not going to lie. I could do something inside. So, that is my choice whether I do that or not. And I should do it. And I'll be honest with you, if I do take off, I feel like if I take off another day and just really relax, I could have a really good workout tomorrow. Today or yesterday, I had a really good workout. I ran and then I walked and I ran, I walked, but I felt like I could get my knees up a lot higher, right? And do some sprints. And that felt really good to do because I felt like I had energy. And then even when I cycled down, I walk, my heart recouped a lot faster, got my breath back a lot faster, and do another run. And even going up the hill, that it was really good. But the thing is that I have been used to working out indoors. So I think if I were to go indoors, I would not have any problem, with the workout. Maybe I would, because maybe now I've gotten used to being outside. But anything that you do is different. I mean, the things that you do are different. They're just not the same. I mean, you can move indoors in perfect conditions, and then you move outdoors and you have the variables, and it can feel totally different. The breathing, they talk about Mile High Stadium when you go to Colorado and you're in the mountains and the air is just different. I've not experienced that to the degree that I can talk upon it, but I have experienced it to the point where I have noticed, a difference in different, I would say, climates. I just didn't take note that, okay, this is a different altitude or anything like that. It's just that I felt different. It felt like it might have been harder to breathe. Like I say, even just going outside and working out compared to being inside most of the time, it's a different challenge. And it's the same way with working out or with sports. Is NASCAR a sport compared to football? Is golf a sport compared to baseball? Is checkers or chess a sport compared to curling? So all these different, I guess I would say they're all sports, but we have to define what an athlete is, right? Is an athlete a checker player? And I don't even know if that's really a topic, but that's I've thought about that, and I think that a checker player is not an athlete, but I definitely think in terms of preparing, readiness, there we go. In terms of preparing, I think you go through the same regiment. You have routines, you have where strategy, you must practice so that you can perform for that isolated time period, whether it's an hour that you're playing chess or an hour on the field, whatever it is, but that is what you are preparing for. So we can even think of that at work. I'm preparing for the day. I'm preparing for a sale. I'm preparing whatever it is. We have to prepare. The world's greatest salesperson, I remember way back in the day, he prepared for every sale. Every day he would go in, film himself on camera, and he would watch, prepare himself for that sale of the day. But this is what he did for a living. He was great at it, but he prepared for it. So does that make him an athlete? No. But that's his sport. You know what I mean? That's his sport, and that's what he's good at. and he works to be at the top. So, you know, if you want to be at the top of any profession that you're in, you have to prepare, right? You must go get you some training if that's where you want to be. If you want to be at that level, you have to study things, other things, different things, things that pertain to your sport to help you be at the top of your game, right? You know, someone can come in and they're not the best athlete, might not be as gifted, but to perform at the highest level, you know, they may outperform others that are more gifted athletically. But if you do not do that work, then obviously there's a chance you're not going to be um, sought after, or you're not going to be looked upon as being someone at the higher level. So whether it is an athletic sporting event or a sport, or if it is trucking, right? It's always good to work to improve, work to get more information and more training. That doesn't just mean get any type of training, right? You want to go find training that is going to help you, benefit you, right? That is going to put you at the next level, wherever it is you're trying to get to. Maybe it doesn't matter to you, you know, and on that front, and that's fine. But those that are trying to grow in their profession, then you definitely want to seek out the information that's going to help you to get there and actually apply it, right? Um, Today I learned a lot. Today I learned something every day, and I do. Um, Boy, I learned quite a bit today, and we're working to put some things in action. One of the things is, um, you know, I talk about insurance and factoring and all that good stuff. And there's some things that you guys might have already known that I didn't know, and just how insurance works, you know, in terms of how it comes about, you know, how the plans and policies and things like that are actually developed, right? Not just necessarily an insurance company saying, hey, we're going to create policies, because that's not how it works. You know, there's a middle person in there, NGA, that actually does that, you know. And so I learned a lot about that, and it's very interesting. And there's a lot more that I want to learn, including the history of it all. And you know, and then it sheds light on how insurance works. And if you are a trucking company or someone that's looking to get into the industry, I me personally, I would advise you in a different way in terms of how to go about getting that insurance. You know, um, yeah, I would advise you in a way that I think would help save you money and would help you to be a better insured or insurable type of carrier. You know, everyone gets into this business and they want to do really well and succeed and do great things, but you have to be prepared. You know, we're talking about readiness. This is just one aspect of it all that I think you need to know. You don't have to be an expert at insurance, but I think that there is information that is needed and that everyone should know. That there should be a listing of, hey, this is what this is all about, this is why, and this is how that's broken down. And I think once you go through that, you'll start to understand some things and see things in a different way, and it can help you to sleep better at night. And even if you don't sleep better at night because of certain situations, I think that you'll be awake for the right reasons, right? So, so I've learned a lot today when it comes to that. See here. Oh, there's that is. I was looking for this. Let me get rid of this. And then also, let's see. There we go. Okay. Also, oh, there's a lot. Well, as far as the weather goes, again, you know, I am working out, and it's all about readiness, getting ready, getting getting my body ready for whatever's to come. But I think just to be healthy, right? I think that's a big importance. And So I'm getting my body all ready and in shape and all that good stuff. I mean, we're working at it. We'll see how far I get in 30 days, but I think definitely it's going to take me longer than 30 days to get where I want to get to. And that's fine because this is more of a lifetime thing, right? Quality of life. But I was going back to the weather. Um, we did put out an article and I put it out, sent out an email to some, and I don't know that the link was attached. So I apologize for that. So if anyone happens to be interested in that, they can reach out to me. I did put the link here on this video, and I think I did it right. I've not done that ever before, so this is the first time I'm doing that. So I put a link there, and you can access the article. And the article talks about being ready for this storm, not in the sense of hunkering down and making sure you've got enough soup and blankets and all that good stuff going on, but in the sense that over the next week, like a week, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, there's going to be opportunity that will come of all this. And that's because it's going to shut down a lot of things. So when I say that, it takes me back to COVID. When you think about things being shut down, COVID was the ultimate shutdown, right? And it shut down so many things, shut down the economy. And when it opened back up, there was this massive tsunami of demand, right? And there weren't enough trucks, and it went the way it went. So we have, so to speak, a mini COVID going on in the sense of that the impact that we will experience due to the weather this weekend. There's going to be this major snowstorm that's going to come through, and this storm is going to have an impact throughout the country. Like I said yesterday, when I looked at a map, all I saw was Florida and sliver of California out there on the West Coast that was going to avoid this. I'm not a meteorologist or any of those things, an ocean, whatever. I'm not that, but I did. I got a message this morning from well, I'll just say grade 8, and thank you for that. He was making a pickup in Wisconsin, and it was 25 below zero where he's at. Can imagine it, because on the windshield side it was minus 49. I think that just doesn't even make sense. I mean, thinking about it, it freezes my brain. That's just ridiculously cold, and he seemed to be doing okay in it. I am not that guy. I would say send me south, but in this situation, sending me south would have to take me across the border, because Texas is going to get it pretty badly. I mean, it's all the way to the bottom tip of Texas. I think they're going to be expecting 8 degrees. All right. So, when I talk about COVID, and then we talk about this storm, the effect of it is shutting down things. Kids don't go to school. Jobs aren't saying stay home. The store probably only has 1 or 2 people that are working. The store, matter of fact, I remember last year there was a store. It was so cold that the grocery store has shut down. And I remember the day before, people said, "I'm not coming in." So the grocery store can be shut down. The only stores that I ever see remain open are the convenience stores, and they're open during the holidays, during Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, they're open. But the other stores, what time is it? I need to go by the store here shortly, but these other stores are shut down. So do what you got to do. Go get your food and whatever else you need to get. And then when all this opens up again, it's going to be like COVID. There's going to be this massive wave that's going to come through of need, of demand. And you as a carrier is going to be in demand. Okay. There's going to be that short period that you are going to be in demand. So when we have these hurricanes and these weather events, it affects the economy, it affects people, and the need. There's a need to move things. All right. Um, there is for you as a carrier, in my opinion, the way I look at it, the way I would train and coach and what have you, I would coach you to build relationships during that time period. Okay. And that's a time period that helps you to, and building relationships is not just shaking a hand and saying, hi, hey, here I am and who I am. You can do that, but I'm talking about actually having in place something that you, that takes you through the next 90 days, right? In terms of building this relationship so that you can come out winning. Because the way I look at it, from November all the way through February-ish, right? That's an opportunity to help get you through the first 6 months of the year. Because when there's opportunities always that are going to come up that are going to allow you to build relationships. And then even coming into July, that time period allow you to develop more opportunities for the new year, going into the new year. So you have what we have mapped out, and we're going to map it out even more here at Freight Connect, this timeline that says, hey, during this time period, yeah, there might be produce moving, right? But here are some other opportunities that you don't want to forget about. These are like low-hanging fruit. And when I say low-hanging fruit, I'm talking about being able to go out and actually time when it is a good time to reach out to people, right? To be able to communicate with people in regards to your business and promote your business and promote yourself and actually learn and grow. So if you look at this whole cycle for 12 months, you're looking at an opportunity to be able to develop yourself, train yourself, learn some things, put that stuff into practice and communicating with people in certain times of the year where it makes a difference. And you keep cycling like that, you're going to get known. Not only you're going to get known, you're going to be pretty darn successful in this industry. And the reason I say that is this: I hear a lot of people talk about how brutal the economy is, or how brutal that, just the freight business is and things like that, and want to get out of it and what have you. I mean, I've heard it today. And then there's people that want to stay in it and what have you. But you have to be very methodical. And I believe, and you have to really put that plan into play. It's not just a matter of going out. No, I've not ran my own company as a carrier, but I believe that you cannot go out and just, you shake the hands and you've got these loads that you do. And then all of a sudden these loads don't work out for whatever reason. That's okay that it doesn't work out, but there's a bigger picture. There's a much bigger picture here that is going to give you opportunities that I think that, unfortunately, all the other things we deal with, we forget about those opportunities that do exist. There is opportunity that exists in this weather storm, in this winter storm. There's opportunities that will jump out, that will come about. How do you position yourself for that? That's key. That is so, and it's not just for this week or just for this day. We're talking about longer term, because that's why you're in it. You're not in the business just for a few days. You're not in the business just for a week, to be successful for a week or to see how it goes. Maybe some people they're just dipping their toe in it. They got money like that. I don't know, or other opportunities. But if you're really into this industry, into this business, you've got to, there's a way to really think this through. There's probably multiple ways that you can go about this business. But I do know that there are some things, regardless of how you go about it, you're still going to have to deal with the economy. You're still going to have to deal with people. You're still going to have to deal with fuel prices. You're still going to have to, these are things that it doesn't matter which angle you try to go at this business. You're still going to have to deal with those things. Those things are going to have to be, I shouldn't say deal, I should say incorporate them. That's a better way to go about it. When we say words, they can make a difference. When we say certain things, they can make a difference how we say them, and then how they play in our brains. I had someone say to me, man, called me up and said, hey, it sucks getting old, huh? And for the reason that it was said, I didn't agree with it. We didn't have a conversation about it, but I didn't agree with it, right? But I would say there's a different way to put that um, sentiment, I would say, in the sense of this, that um, is I don't think it's about getting old. I think it's about just things that come up in life, because things that when we get older, we have to deal with them. It doesn't mean that we have to deal with them when we're older. We can deal with a lot of different things when we're younger. I could be 30, I can be 50, and I could be dealing with the same things that someone would think an older person, much older person, has to deal with. And then it sucks. But it's not that it sucks getting older, it sucks that whatever that thing is, right? Whatever that issue is, because everyone that gets older doesn't have to deal with all that. I mean, you're at a different point in life, and that's fine. But my point again is, your mindset, how do you see certain situations, whether it's in life or in your business? How do you see certain situations, right? How do you see this snowstorm? How do you view this snowstorm? Is it an opportunity? Because COVID was a big opportunity. As bad as it was, a lot of people made money, a lot of people got into this business, but then a lot of people didn't do some things they could have done with that money, right? A lot of people scammed, they were fraudsters, and they got a lot of money because there was a lot of money out there being given away, you know. And I'm not saying people in trucking scammed anyone and did that to get money. But what I'm saying is, when you have money, how do you handle it? Do you handle it like, again, don't get me wrong, like someone who is acquiring it illegally? Some people in trucking, I heard they got this PPE money, and they went out and they bought vehicles, and they bought jewelry, and they bought all these different things, which obviously was bad. And when you get your money in trucking, not saying that those are the things you'll spend it on, but are you putting it somewhere, investing it to help your business thrive, to help your business grow, to help you be in a different position when the opportunity is gone? Here in this winter storm, hey, you know what? I'm going to move this freight. Somebody called me up. But are you looking at it from a strategic standpoint that this could be an opportunity? At that point, you have an opportunity to pick and choose when the demand is favored on your side. You have the opportunity to pick and choose who you want to work with, what freight you want to move, and you have the opportunity to, how do I talk to them? Am I just going to get as much money out of, is this going to be a money grab, or is this going to be something that I can stop and build a relationship with and grow? No one's stopping you from having that conversation or seeking that opportunity out. So, at any rate, one other thing today, I mean, the weather, it's, I'll just talk about that and I'm done. The weather is going to be pretty treacherous this weekend. It's amazing how it comes in on a Friday, right? And then it sets around throughout the weekend, right? It's like that person didn't announce they were coming. Well, no, the weather's announcing, winter weather is announcing that it's going to be here and it's going to settle in and make room for me, is what it's saying. I don't know much about weather, but it was interesting that what I did learn. Matter of fact, I put a link on the website of a video I was watching. A guy who was talking this morning about the system and the different models and what have you. And I was just intrigued, like I said, I just get interested in a lot of things, and to see it move, to see how, we're getting all this cold air from the south, from the north, and then you've got the warm air coming from the south, and then you've got this where it creates a front and they hit up, and then you've got the cold weather that comes down, the warm weather that goes on top, and it pushes this coldness down. And then you've got that stretch that goes from California, I guess it is, or from the west, coming actually from the northeast or northwest, it appears, and then coming down and hitting into this alleyway that goes from New Mexico, Texas. It's going to get hit pretty hard, and then going all the way up into the northeast. And I had mentioned that Florida appeared to be safe from all this, but you've got all this cold weather, and I've already mentioned about Wisconsin, but Texas is going to be in single digits all the way down to the tip of the South. And I can imagine Mexico, they're going to feel it as well. But that coldness is going to last all week. And I mean, they're going to be under freezing, is what I'm understanding, all week in Texas. So the idea to, especially for flatbeds, to move south, especially in Texas, and go south during the winter and get some business, yeah, it's going to be tough this weekend and this week. So I say definitely be safe. They're supposedly like in the northwest area and somewhere else in, I think, northern part, maybe Midwest northern part. I'm hearing that it's going to be the driest, or it has been the driest start to the year, to the winter season, maybe of any time that I guess weather's been recorded. I mean, going back to 1890s. So they said that it's, I don't know what that means in terms of what's going to happen later in the year, if that means there's going to be drought situations or, you know, wildfires and things like that later in the year. But what I do know is that that did not sound good. You know, I'm in the Midwest. It's already 8 degrees. I'm not going out. I'm not going to be out running today. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to get out there though, you know, and I might get out there and just kind of feel it and feel like, hey, I'm going to get out here. I'm going to do a run. I just might, but I've got a funny feeling it's not going to happen. So we are going to not do that tonight. That's the plan. But we will get out, but there's going to be this massive cold air. There's going to be rain is anticipated, that obviously I would say is snow. I guess I would say moisture is the way he was putting it. There's going to be liquid. That's what he calls it. You know, like 7 inches of liquid, 4 inches of liquid. I've not ever heard it mentioned like that, but supposedly, I guess that's a lot of liquid. And so you're going to get snow. I guess liquid, if you think of snow and then you think of liquid, probably the liquid is more dense, where the snow is going to maybe have a higher level in terms of its accumulation, whereas liquid, you know, it's going to be more dense, whereas snow is not. So therefore there's air in there and it's going to be more. But so I would imagine then if you convert 3 inches of liquid to 4 inches, maybe that's what that has to do with. I don't know. But all I know is that there's supposed to be cold, there's supposed to be snow, there's supposed to be ice, and also that mix is not good. So you need to be safe wherever you are at, wherever you're going to be. Please be safe. If you don't need to get out, don't get out. Hopefully you're prepared so that you don't have to go out. Okay. So be safe. Yeah. And also, well, actually, I mean, that's about it. It's interesting. Like I say, go to the link, check those things out. You can check out that weather link. He's talking about the weather, and I thought it was pretty good what he mentioned. And at the same time, they can't give you exactly tell you exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. But something like this, I don't think that they could be far off in terms of how widespread it's going to be and that it's coming. And then he also said that there's a second system that's going to be coming through, which I think that's going to be next week, maybe come Thursday-ish, possibly. I thought he was talking about, I have to listen to it again. But either way it goes, it is winter. And I thought winter was going to bypass us. I was hopeful that it would, because it was so warm during Christmas and the start of the new year. I mean, 50s, 60s, that's unheard of, but it was just in delay. So be careful, and be careful. And you guys have a great weekend. There's plenty of football to watch. and plenty of opportunity for you to prepare, right? Figure out, you know, who's going to be impacted, which type of companies, who would you reach out to? You know, do you have brokers that you can reach out to, talk to them, find out what is going on with them? They're going to be dealing with it as well. You know, they're going to be dealing with delays. They're going to be dealing with their clients either not up and running right now, or that they are up and running and have needs. And those that are not up and running, that maybe shut down for a time or two, that means there's just going to be more backup, right? So for you, it's a matter of making yourself available and being prepared. Okay, be prepared. Winter comes every year, so be prepared, and see how you can get in where you can fit in, and hopefully, like I say, 60, 30, 60, 90 days down the road, you'll find yourself in a position where you have been able to build relationships off of this winter weather, and find yourself in a much better situation down the road, and also going into the summer. So I'm always looking at 6 months down the road. All right. So hopefully that's anything that I've said today was helpful to you. But the highlight is be safe. All right. That's all we've got. God bless.